Ladies and gentlemen, America's enemies have just crossed the line. Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah himself, crawled out of hiding for the first time since our bunker busters smashed his precious nuclear sites. And what does he do? He goes on state TV, voice cracking, eyes are sunken in, and he threatens you. He threatens your city. He threatens your family right now. Tonight, today, whenever you happen to be watching this video, guys, he says sleeper cells are here. He says revenge is coming for what President Trump just did to Iran's secret nuclear bunkers. And you know what President Trump said back? I'll tell you, he didn't flinch for a second, guys. He looked the world in the eye and he said, one more move and Iran is gone. No, maybe, no, we'll think about it, gone. But that's just the surface. Today, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what the Ayatollah's threat really means for you, for your family. The FBI is warning about sleeper cells on American soil, the ICE raids that just went down, and of course, the hidden sabotage that's shattered Iran's nuclear dreams when they expected it the least. So check this out. I'm also going to break down how President Trump's next move is already locked and loaded and waiting, because if Iran blinks wrong, the next bombers are in the sky before breakfast. Now, stick with me, guys, because what you're about to hear, it's not on cable news. It is the truth that they want buried while this White House locks down every leak and every threat. This is how America stays safe, guys. And this is how you stay one step ahead. So grab your coffee. Some of you guys don't drink coffee. I know. Grab your tea, get your matcha, hit the like button so that more patriots can see this. And of course, if you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe. Because if the Ayatollah dares strike again, it's not just his nukes that will disappear. It's his entire regime. So let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, and by the way, Paulette Diener, she's been fighting Medicare issues for over a year, trying to help her son. Nobody listened. Nobody cared. Up until she called Chapter. They helped us. This is what she said directly. She said they helped us communicate with Medicare, fix the issue, and save money. It was a blessing. Thank you, Ron. Meanwhile, Catherine Garcia, she made the call after months of confusion and bills piling up. She said Chapter was compassionate, helpful, and I finally talked to a real person. Now, everything is paid for. I owe nothing. And you don't have to keep guessing, guys. You don't have to do this alone. Give our friends a Chapter call right now and see how much money they can save you on your Medicare. Phone numbers down below, 909-563-8279, or hit them up on the web at askchapter.org/Ron. Check this out. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this unfiltered truth here that the headlines do not want you to be focused on tonight, today, whenever you're watching this, guys. All right. The Supreme Leader's direct threat. Let's talk about that first, because it's really important. Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah himself, just showed his face for the first time since President Trump's bunker busters punched holes in Iran's secret nuke sites. Now, he didn't come out looking strong at all. In fact, he looked a little frail. He didn't come out sounding confident. He came out looking tired, fragile, and essentially cornered. But he did still what he did basically what these tyrants do best. He ran his mouth, flapping at the gums, right? So he went live on Iran state TV from his underground bunker, Lord knows where that's at, right? To tell 90 million Iranians that America is now in their crosshairs. So his exact threat was this: if the United States dares anything else, if we even think about stopping Iran's nuclear dreams again, he says attacks inside of America will follow. Now, what do you guys think about this? Now, we're not talking about threats over there. We're talking about threats about your city, my city, the places that we take our kids, the roads we drive on to work. He's not bluffing with tanks on a desert line. He's dangling sleeper cells, hidden operatives who could wake up tomorrow and just cause all sorts of undesirable chaos. Now, he even bragged about suitcase nukes. You guys ever heard of that? This is news to me. He's bragging about these suitcase nukes, small enough to slip through our border, powerful enough to flatten a city block if these fanatics get a chance to push the button. And let's be clear, he didn't just stop with bombs. He promised blackouts, cyber hits, critical infrastructure attacks. That means power grids, hospitals, communication lines. You see what I'm saying here, guys? So they want America's backbone rattled. from your front door to Wall Street. And yes, he threatened Israel too. He wants to scare our closest allies and split our attention. But here's what really matters for us. He put a direct bullseye on the American homeland. That's the line, guys. He didn't do it with a press conference with foreign reporters. He did it with a pre-recorded video, a trembling voice inside of his hidden bunker, beamed out to a country that's just watching its nuclear plans buried under 30,000 pounds of American steel and fire. And the world took notice because this wasn't an idle threat. This wasn't just some idle bluff. It is the same playbook that Iran's regime has used for decades. If we can't win a fair fight, we hide behind terror cells. That's what they do. So the big question is, can he really do it? Could Iran's threats actually reach your neighborhood? Well, that leads us straight into the second piece here, the sleeper cells and the domestic danger that you're not supposed to think about. Look, the FBI and the DHS, they're already sugarcoating this. They have already issued multiple threats this month alone. Iranian sleeper cells are real, and they are here. How'd they get here, though? It's real simple. Our southern border. For years, they slipped through gaps meant for drug mules and human traffickers. Now, they blend in with overstayed visas, fake paperwork, and student protests. And the number one hiding spot, guys, college campuses. That's right, guys. The same universities where anti-Israel protests erupted overnight. Perfect camouflage for their trained radicals to organize, blend in, and plan. You see? So the threat is so real that just last week, ICE conducted coordinated sweeps. They snagged an Iranian army sniper still carrying a military ID. They arrested a suspected IRGC member. That's Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, for those who are unfamiliar. The same people who plan rocket attacks and rocket strikes on our bases overseas. They caught men with documented ties to Hezbollah, Iran's number one proxy for foreign terror attacks. And those are just the ones that they caught. How many slipped through the cracks while the last administration pretended that we didn't even have a problem at all? You see what I'm saying? So you're not going to see this on primetime news. ICE has a list, and that list is rather long. These sleeper cells don't wear uniforms. They don't wave flags. They hide in plain sight, waiting for a signal. And the Supreme Leader just gave them exactly that. Wait for my word. Hit them when they least expect it. Wow. Oh, and let that sink in for a second, guys, because these threats are not just for the coasts. Major cities, yes, but they're also watching our ports, our military hubs, our energy grids, the same critical spots that just keep this country running. New York, Houston, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago. Any city with vital pipelines, rail yards, or shipping yards is a potential target if these radicals get the order. But here's the part you won't hear from the usual I call them the doom merchants because they sell fear. Guys, real quick, I just want to remind you guys, this channel here, we're not about fear. This is about information and preparation. That's all it is. So anyway, but this is what you won't hear from the usual doom merchants. This administration under President Trump is not asleep at the wheel. The FBI, the DHS, ICE, they are coordinating like we've never seen in years. Leaks are getting plugged, borders are getting tighter, and President Trump's red line is crystal clear. One more move, and Iran is done for good. So stick with me, guys, because I want to share with you guys exactly what Iran's regime just lost when President Trump's bunker busters came a-knocking, and how their own officials can't even lie straight about it. It's crazy what they're doing here. All right, so now that you know the Ayatollah's threat wasn't just talk, it was the last card in a busted deck. Let's go ahead and open this up, and I want to talk about exactly what Iran's regime just lost, why they're so desperate, and more importantly, why one dirty leak tried to flip the whole win situation upside down. Okay, so folks, if you only take one thing from this video, I want you to take this away. Iran's nuclear dream didn't just take a hit, it got demolished at the foundation. For years, decades, really, Iran's regime poured billions of dollars into hardened bunkers buried deep under cities like Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan. They used civilian fronts, secret tunnels, fake media research, all sorts of different sites, anything that they could to try to fool the world that they enriched uranium far past peaceful levels. Every president before Trump either tiptoed around these sites or maybe traded away leverage through half-baked deals that really did nothing but buy Iran more time. You remember pallets of cash under the last guy? Yeah. Where did that money go? Straight into tunnels, missile silos, secret centrifuge farms. But this time, under President Trump, the gloves came off. No more secret enrichment, no more deadlines that mean nothing, no more playing pretend while they chant death to America on state TV. No more of that, right? When the intelligence lined up, thanks to deep eyes on the ground, Israeli infiltration, and a few brave Iranians risking their lives, the president gave the green light. And when those stealth bombers lifted off, Iran's radar might as well have been turned off because they didn't even see a thing. By the time they realized that the bunker busters were dropping, those sites were already pulverized. The best uranium stockpiles that they had contaminated, centrifuges twisted into scrap metal, decades of illicit enrichment erased in one night. Now, here's what's really wild. The Ayatollah didn't even know how bad it was at first. His foreign minister, the slick-talking face of Iran's charm offenses, essentially couldn't keep the lid on it. He went on Iran's own TV and admitted the damage was excessive and serious. That's a quote directly from him. I mean, you could almost hear the panic in his voice. Meanwhile, the supreme leader had to climb out of a bunker and do damage control, telling his people it was no big deal, that Trump's bombs were a bluff, that there's still a nuclear power. Yeah. But behind the scenes, guys, he was purging his intelligence chiefs, hunting for traitors, and calling up his last loyal proxies to do something, anything, to make him look strong again. And that brings us to the second battlefield here at home, because the regime, while the regime was out here digging through the rubble in Iran, back here in Washington, D.C., somebody inside the deep state dropped a stink bomb of their own. A low confidence leak that claimed the damage was minimal and that the strikes barely scratched the program. Low confidence it means exactly that. It means not vetted. It means not confirmed, not real. It's almost like, why even bother reporting it, right? But funny enough, the second it hit the news cycle, every legacy media went ahead and ran with it. Oh, they were saying stuff like Trump lies and the strikes failed. Iran's program is fine. Ask yourself, guys, who does that help? Does it help you sitting at home trying to figure out if your kids are safe? Does it help Americans position when our enemies are reading those headlines? No, it only helps one man, the Ayatollah. It gives him a lifeline, a chance to tell his people, see, even the Americans say they failed, right? So this is such a backstabbing. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that any news network that reported this erroneous information should have their license pulled? Let me know, guys. But here's the difference today. The swamp leaks and media spin are not going unanswered anymore. This White House isn't sitting on its hands. President Trump's team is hunting for the source. And you know why? Because they know leaks like this don't just embarrass a president. They endanger our troops, our intelligence assets, our global leverage. They embolden enemies to push closer to that red line. And the best part, the facts have already been buried under the lie. All right. The real intelligence from boots on the ground, satellite passes, Israeli verification, IAEA inspectors all confirm the same thing. Iran's enrichment timeline didn't lose weeks. It lost years. Their fancy underground network ruined, their centrifuge arrays in pieces. And this is exactly why the Ayatollah is threatening you with sleeper cells, because that's all he's got left. But I want to go ahead and step back just for a second. This is not the first time that the DC spin machine tried to sell a fake narrative when Trump scored a win. This is the same pattern that we saw when peace deals reshaped the Middle East, when tariffs realigned China, when border security exposed open door corruption. Same script: undermine the president, tell Americans we're weak, give our enemies a propaganda clip that they can loop on state TV. But you and I, we're not buying this nonsense. Not now and not ever again. So now you see what was destroyed, who tried to hide it, and why the Ayatollah's threats sound so loud right now. But here's the piece that almost nobody in mainstream media will say out loud. And you need to know this. The Ayatollah is bluffing. How do we know that? Well, look at the guy. For the first time in decades, Iran's so-called supreme leader, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You guys remember that movie, right? He looked anything but supreme the last time we saw him. The bunker broadcast showed a man who sounded weak, hoarse. His words were slipping. His eyes were darting. This is the same man who once bragged he would wipe Israel off the map and push the U.S. Navy out of the Gulf. But now he's hiding underground. His voice is echoing off of some cold concrete walls, rambling about sleeper cells because that's all he's got left, really. And so why is he so desperate at this point? Because when the bunker bombs hit, so did the betrayal that, he thought would never come. Russia and China walked away. Think about that, guys. For years, Russia shielded Iran in Syria. Putin propped up Iran's terror wings, sold them drones, funneled weapons through black markets. But now, Putin's so bogged down in Ukraine that he couldn't even spare a single hand to help the Ayatollah's so-called holy war. And China buys Iran's oil, sure. They keep the regime on life support with secret deals, but when the bombs dropped, China didn't even pretend to stand up. They need cheap oil, not a global meltdown that drags them into a war that they didn't plan for. So the Ayatollah's dream team, Russia for guns, China for cash, Hezbollah for terror strikes, it's all cracking apart. Hamas cut down to size. Hezbollah hunted in Syria. The Revolutionary Guard scrambling to plug leaks because they know Western intelligence has eyes and ears everywhere. And that brings us right to where terrifies him the most, Trump's red line. Because while the Ayatollah threatens to hit New York or LA or your local power grid, President Trump didn't mince a single word. He was asked point blank, if Iran enriches uranium again, if they dare test the line, would you bomb them again? Trump didn't even blink. He didn't hedge, no secret committees, no permission slips from Brussels. His answer, without question. And that's the difference, guys. The Ayatollah is shouting from a bunker, but Trump is standing at the White House with stealth bombers on standby. He's not saying it to scare you. He's saying it to make sure Iran knows exactly what happens if they try to spin up another centrifuge or fire a shot at American soil. And the world has already seen how real that promise is. I mean, just look at what happened at the U.S. base in Qatar. Iran tried their big retaliation after our strike. Remember that? They launched 14 rockets at our personnel over there. Not a single rocket got through, not one. American air defenses, American pilots, American readiness, every shot blocked. No casualties, base standing strong. So what does that prove? I think it proves something very clear. When President Trump says one more move and it's gone, he means it. And he can back it up too. Stealth bombers flew right past Iran's entire radar grid last time. They never saw what was coming. The same bombers are on the runway today, whenever you happen to be watching this, right? So the same command centers, the same silos, they're all marked, all within range, all proven vulnerable. But here's what the legacy press won't tell you. This isn't reckless warmongering. It's the exact opposite. This is deterrence. The way it's meant to work. You hit us, you lose everything you spent half a century building. Again, you cross the line, you watch your regime crumble in a single night. Again. And Trump's message is bigger than the Ayatollah. It's for Russia. It's for China. It's for every rogue thug who thinks that they can test America's backbone while we're distracted here at home. One more move and it's gone. That's the line. No excuses, no half measures, no UN lectures. You threaten American families. The bunker gets deeper or disappears. And here's the best part. This line is drawn out of strength, but it's also drawn out of compassion because President Trump knows who pays the price when dictators play games. It's never the Ayatollah's sons hiding in the bunkers. It's ordinary people in Tehran, or brave families in Tel Aviv, or hardworking Americans in New York or Houston or Atlanta who wake up to find a cyber attack blocking the hospital, or a fake student group rallying sleeper cells. That's who he's protecting. That is who this administration is fighting for, not the swamp class, not some global lecture circuit, you, your kids, your home. So the next time the Ayatollah pops up, shaking his fist and rattling off some big threats, I want you to remember who's sitting in the Oval Office tonight. Remember who already ordered the strike that nobody thought that he'd actually pull. Remember who promised one more move and it's gone. And I promise you guys, we're not done yet, because guys, I want to go a little bit deeper on how our human intelligence and allies on the ground actually pull this off. Who's helping from inside of Iran, and how our friends overseas are making sure the Ayatollah cannot hide anywhere. All right, so now that you know why the Ayatollah is cornered and how President Trump's red line works, let's go ahead and open up the door on the piece the media never wanted you to see. The human intelligence and the allies who made this mission possible, and why they scared the supreme leader more than our bunker busters ever could. You see, it's one thing to drop a bomb from 40,000 feet up, right? It's another thing to know exactly where to drop it. So how did the U.S. actually know the location of Iran's hidden centrifuges, right? How did our bombers slip through air defenses without getting pinged? How did the Ayatollah only learn about the real damage after his own people leaked it? Well, it's simple. He's surrounded by ghosts he can't see. You see, inside of Iran tonight, there are thousands of brave men and women who hate the regime. They've essentially been forced to live under religious police, poverty, surveillance, corruption, while the Ayatollah's inner circle hoards billions of dollars. And when Trump's intelligence agencies, working shoulder to shoulder with Israeli Mossad, needed answers, those same Iranians risked their lives to pass maps, blueprints, and insider schedules. You think it's a coincidence that Israel was able to assassinate two top nuclear scientists with surgical precision? Do you think it's random that America's bunker busters knew exactly which ventilation shafts to collapse first? No way. That's like impossible to know that. That is the power of people inside of Iran. People who see a future beyond an 86-year-old tyrant screaming about blowing up America while hiding behind concrete. And this network terrifies the supreme leader. He's got no clue who's loyal, who's feeding Mossad, who's talking to Western handlers, who's passing flash drives around. He's even purging his own military ranks right now, just like Stalin, trying to plug leaks that can't be plugged. Meanwhile, our allies, our friends in Israel stay relentless. Satellites, cyber infiltration, commandos on the ground if needed. And let's not forget, Russia used to protect Iran's backdoor in Syria. But tonight, Putin's way too busy losing tanks and territory in Ukraine to lift a finger for Tehran. No help's coming. China, silent. They're still buying oil, but they won't send a single jet to stop another U.S. strike because they know exactly what happens if they get in our way and Trump's red line snaps shut. So remember this. America's strength is not just about bunker busters or drone strikes. It's the silence. It's the silent resistance that wants the regime gone too. And President Trump's White House respects that. They don't just see numbers on a map. They know there are families on both sides who want this regime finished. So that their kids don't grow up chanting death to America in a classroom while eating scraps in the dark. And of course, this brings us right back to President Trump's promise to you, the ordinary American family who's watching this mess from like thousands of miles away and wondering, well, what happens if Iran makes one more move? Well, here's the truth. This isn't about saber rattling. This isn't about endless war or nation building. This is about deterrence backed by action. It's about telling tyrants that there's a price for threatening us in our homes. President Trump didn't drop bunker busters for fun. He did it because he knows that when you show force with precision, you prevent something far worse down the line. dirty bombs smuggled in through our borders, sleeper cells torching our infrastructure, your city's lights going dark because some cleric wanted to save face on TV. This is why you hear him say, one more move and it's gone. It's not empty talk. It's a shield for you and me. It's the promise that if the Ayatollah gives the order for a sleeper cell to blow up a subway station in New York, or if he dares spin those centrifuges back up past the line, or if he tries to slap the American flag again, he'll find himself staring at the same bombers that already proved that they can appear over his head without warning. And here at home, the same mindset holds true. ICE is rounding up sleeper cells. The border is getting plugged. FBI and DHS are sharing real-time watch lists. Local law enforcement is in the loop, not left in the dark like they were years ago. Trump's administration knows this fight doesn't just happen overseas. It happens right here too. So this is what makes this White House different. Strength abroad, vigilance at home. So if you hear the Ayatollah brag about sleeper cells, remember who's knocking on doors tonight to find them first. Now, if you see the media panic about another leak, remember who's hunting that leak to make sure it never puts your family in danger again. Because at the end of the day, President Trump's red line is very simple. America comes first. You, your kids, your neighborhood, not some dictator's pride, not an appeasement deal, not a fake handshake for a photo op. So when he says one more move and it's gone, believe him, because the whole world saw that he meant it. And of course, we already broke down the threat, the bluff, the hidden sabotage, and President Trump's clear promise to all of us. But let's go ahead and bring this all home with the most important piece. What exactly would trigger the next strike? And how close are we really to seeing that promise carried out? So first, here's the reality. The red line is not complicated. President Trump made it crystal clear to the Pentagon, to Israel, to the world. If Iran does one more thing, if they enrich uranium past that limit again, if they activate sleeper cells, if they hit our soil or our allies, it is over. Now think about that for a second, guys. Iran's top scientists are gone or they're hiding. Their best sites are already in rubble. The Ayatollah's voice is trembling in a bunker, and yet he still dares to threaten New York, Houston, Atlanta, LA, Los Angeles, cities with ports, oil refineries, bases, families who just want a normal day. And the truth is, they're trying. They're testing. Right now, our intel is watching for new enrichment sites spun up in hidden locations, cash transfers to terror proxies, suspicious chatter about suitcase nukes or coordinated hits, lone wolves radicalized through campus protests or fake social media cells. And if any one of those lines get crossed, the same stealth bombers that slipped past their radar last month, the same bunker busters that turned decades of uranium into smoking concrete, they're gonna go ahead and fly through again. And you're not gonna hear about it through a leak. You just see the smoke cratering first. That's the real message tonight. This isn't fear for fear's sake. This is called deterrence. And it only works when your enemy believes you're gonna back it up. And with Trump in the White House right now, they do believe that. The Ayatollah can brag on TV all he wants, but he knows if he gives the order, his regime is gone by morning. So that's not warmongering. That is peace through strength. And in the end, it's the single biggest reason that you and I get to sleep under a free flag tonight instead of wondering if we're going to wake up to a blackout or worse in the morning. But here's what I need you to do, guys. Do not just watch this video and scroll away. The threats are real. But so is our power when we stay informed. So stay vigilant, guys. I want you to know that your local law enforcement is watching. Keep an eye on the headlines for chatter about enrichment spikes, sleeper cell arrests, new cyber attacks. Keep your family prepared mentally and practically, not paranoid, but prepared. In fact, I compiled a list down below. Check the description down below for the preparedness list link in the description, guys, and share this message because you and I both know the legacy media is just way too busy debating nonsense to tell your neighbors about what actually matters. The desperate regime threatened us. A strong president crushed the secret nuke sites. And if they move again, they lose everything that they've got left. And that's the truth. And if the Ayatollah wants to test it, well, He better sleep light in that bunker because America's bombers don't knock twice. So stay locked in here, guys. I'll keep you guys updated with every verified piece of intel as it drops. No spin, no swamp excuses, just truth and readiness. Now, if you found this video valuable, do me a favor, hit the like button, share it with your people, drop a comment with your thoughts. Do you believe Iran's bluff, or do you stand ready with the red line? Now, this is how we keep each other informed. This is how we keep America strong. And this is how we show the Ayatollah and his cronies that the United States does not back down. Not now, not ever. So God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the United States of America. And we'll see you guys on the next video.